learning, right? So it will take maybe 2 classes to understand or to complete the concept of decision tree, right? So what we will do is we will start the concept of decision tree today, right? Probably in another class, in 2 classes, we can complete this, right? So it's very important concept, right? And we were discussing concept learning, right? So from training examples, how we can generate the hypothesis. So if you recollect the example, ultimately what we were making as part of concept learning is making decisions. Suppose if it is a checkers game, what we are learning? We are learning how to make moves. We are nothing but decisions, right? So in our previous examples of whether my friend is going for enjoying a water sport or not, it depends on 6 parameters, right? So we were trying to create a hypothesis using candidate elimination algorithm, right? We have also used find yes algorithm. In both cases, our intention was to create a hypothesis. Our intention was to create a mathematical representation. Our intention was to create a formula. Ultimately, what these hypothesis or formula or mathematical function is doing is it is helping us in making a decision. So by looking at 6 parameters, I wanted to decide whether my friend will go for a water sport or not. That is what we have done in our previous class, right? Candidate elimination algorithm we have seen in detail. Now similarly we have another technique called as decision tree learning. Decision tree learning. So the name itself says it uses the concept of trees. Now we will try to understand what is decision tree means. It's a tree, and from that tree we are able to make decisions. So here the hypothesis will be nothing but the decision tree. So how to construct a decision tree from the training data, that is the task. So if you recollect or if you remember the previous example, we had 6 parameters, right? Sky, then air temperature, humidity, etc., etc. We had 6 parameters based on which the person, my friend, will decide whether he will be going for a enjoying water sport or not. So we had only 4 training examples. From 4 training examples, we were trying to create a hypothesis using candidate elimination algorithm. So this hypothesis will decide whether for a given new record, for a new data, for new testing data, my hypothesis will tell whether the person will go for a water sport or not. So if you observe, at the end, we are making a decision. Similarly, by looking at training data, in order to create a hypothesis, in order to make a decision, the way we have used find-S algorithm and candidate elimination algorithm, similarly, we have another technique called as decision tree. And decision tree name itself says it is a tree, right, which will help us in making decisions, right? So I need to construct a decision tree by looking at the training data. From training data, we will construct a decision tree. So that is what is the objective of decision tree. How to construct a decision tree, that is our algorithm or the task which we are going to perform now, or the task which we are going to understand now. So please stay focused. This is very important. So let me share my screen. I have already shared it. So let me go to the presentation. So decision tree learning. Friends, decision tree learning is a method for approximating discrete valued target functions. So what do you mean by discrete valued target functions? What do you mean by discrete values? Discrete values. Can anybody answer what is a discrete value? Can anybody respond in the chat box? What do you mean by discrete values? What do you mean by discrete values? Can anybody respond? different values. Okay, so discrete values is not just different values, but we already have a set of possible values. For example, if you take the weather, right? If you take weather, how many possible values will be there? Or if you take seasons, how many possible values you will get for seasons? Rainy season, right? Summer, winter, rainy, maybe spring. So hardly 3 or 4 different values you will get. So discrete values means there are predefined values, some set of predefined values which a variable can take. If season is a variable, then what are all the values the season variable can take? Either season can be summer or winter or rainy or spring. So like that, the variables which can take discrete values. Discrete means we already know that these are all the 3 or 4 possible values. So like that, when you are dealing with such variables called as discrete variables, then you can go for a decision tree, right? So the first point says decision tree learning is a method for approximating discrete value target function. So if my target function depends on some discrete variables, then in such case learning can be done using a decision tree, right? So discrete values means we have some set of predefined values for a particular attribute or a variable, right? Just like season, if season is a variable, possible values for season are summer, winter, rainy and spring. Like that, if you are dealing with variables which are discrete variables, and if you want to learn the hypothesis from that discrete variables, then you can go for decision tree. So that is what is the first point. I hope you understood the first point. Second point, decision tree is one of the widely used inductive learning technique. So friends, we have inductive learning is not a new word for us, right? It is same as concept learning. So inductive learning means we learn from the training data by looking at some positive and negative examples. We try to learn a mathematical function. We try to learn a hypothesis, and that hypothesis should work on the new data also, right? For example, if you recollect our previous enjoying water sport example, there were only 4 records. But if you recollect, how many records are possible with the 6 variables, right? And first variable can have 3 different values. Remaining 5 variables can take two different values. So if I see the combinations of 6 variables, right, with all possible values, I was getting somewhere around 972 values, right? 972 combinations I have not seen. I have seen only 4 sample training examples, out of which 3 were positive and 1 was negative. So just by looking at positive and negative examples with only 4 records, I am trying to create a hypothesis, and that hypothesis should work on the remaining records also. Means for remaining records, I don't know the outcome, whether he will go for a water sport or not, I don't know. But by looking at remaining parameters, my hypothesis should correctly or accurately predict whether my friend will go for a water sport or not. So that is called as inductive learning. You learn by looking at some sample data, training data. You learn by looking at training data. You construct a hypothesis, and that hypothesis is expected to work on the remaining data items which you have not seen. So that is what is inductive learning. So decision tree is one of the widely used inductive learning technique. It includes 3 algorithms: ID3, assistant, and C4.1, C4.5 algorithms. ID3 is one of the widely used algorithm, friends. ID stands for iterative dichotomizer. Iterative dichotomizer. Dichotomization means dividing into small groups. Means I have a problem, I try to divide it into small groups, and since it is done repeatedly, it is called as iterative repetition. It's like a loop kind of thing. So iterative dichotomizer 3, ID3, is the name of the algorithm which we are going to apply in construction of a decision tree, right? So till this point, is it clear to everyone? Please let me know in the chat box. Please, it's very important. If you have any doubt, then I cannot move further. So I need the feedback whether till this point things are clear to everyone or not. Kindly respond. Please respond, my dear students. So what is decision tree? When to use decision tree? Right, some basics we have seen, some theoretical part. Now we will see an example. Till this point, is it clear to everyone? Please let me know in the chat box. Yeah, D5. Okay, fine. So when I ask for feedback, like whether you are following or not, I'm asking everyone. So please, everyone should type in the chat box. Right, only if few students are responding, it's not correct. Fine. Let me go back, and now we will see the example, right? Please try to understand this example, and please let me know. Please interrupt me. Please stop me if at all you have any doubt. So let me not run through the slides, right, without your concurrence. So I want you to understand every slide. Then only we will move forward, right? So now and then I'll come back and I'll look into the chat box for your queries. So we will move on. So what is decision tree? We know it's a right. It's a decision tree is a tree which will be useful in making decisions, right? So it can be generally used if you are working with discrete valued target functions, right? So it is one form of inductive learning. Now let us see the example. So observe this example carefully. This is my training data. This is my training data. Friends, this is the example which I got from the textbook. The standard textbook is Tom Mitchell textbook. I will share the soft copy of the textbook in the group, right? So this is a standard example. This is an example which I got it from the textbook, and there are 14 records. If you observe, there are 14 records, and outlook, temperature, humidity, wind, these are the four independent variables. Play tennis is the dependent variable. Play tennis is the dependent variable. Means that is the outcome variable, or you can say play tennis is the class. Means yes, he will play tennis. No means he will not play the tennis. So if you observe, play tennis is also called as the class. So we are trying to classify our data set into two things, either yes or no. So if you observe, friends, play tennis is my outcome variable, right? And outlook, temperature, humidity, wind, these are the parameters based on which I will decide whether I should go for playing tennis or not. Got the point? So please observe, there are 14 records, and in these 14 records, please try to count how many are positive examples, how many are negative examples. Positive example means if he is going to play tennis, if he is going for playing tennis, if the output is yes, it is positive example. If the output is no, it's a negative example. So please count how many positive examples are there and how many negative examples are there, right? So please count. Yes, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Positive examples are 9. So obviously remaining 5 will be negative examples. 1 2 3 4 and 5. So 14 out of 14, 9 are positive examples. Out of 14, 9 are positive examples. 5 are negative examples. I want everyone to note this point. I'm sorry. I want everyone to note this point. 9 out of 14 examples, 9 are positive examples, 5 are negative examples. 9 are positive examples, 5 are negative examples. So we will move forward. This is my training data. This is the output actually. Directly I am showing you the output. Then we will see the procedure, or then we will see the ID3 algorithm, and we'll see how that how we will reach to this output. So this is my training data. This is my decision tree. So if you look at the decision tree, what is the root node outlook? Right? Sunny, overcast, rainy, these are the values of outlook. See here, sunny, overcast, rainy, these are the values of outlook. And if you observe, humidity is the left child of outlook and wind is on the right side of the outlook. And if you observe the temperature attribute, the attribute called as temperature is not even found in the final decision tree, right? It means it is not really needed. And this is how the output or decision tree will look like. But the problem is, how do I construct this decision tree? Why should I take outlook as the root node? Why not humidity? Why not wind? On what basis you have decided like outlook should be the root node? Got the point? These many questions will come. So if I am constructing a tree, what is the root node, right? And if it is a decision tree, I have 4 parameters: outlook, temperature, humidity, and wind. Out of these 4 parameters, outlook became the root node. Why outlook became the root node? There should be some reason, right? And humidity and wind are the child nodes of outlook, and temperature is not even found. So one attribute called as temperature is not even found in the decision tree. Means in order to make a decision whether I'll go for playing tennis game or not, that really does not depend on temperature. Means this combination or this decision tree is more than enough to tell whether I'll go for playing a tennis game or not. So fine, the decision tree will look like this. So this is the output of this previous problem. So this is the data set. This is the decision tree. So many questions are coming in our mind. Question number 1, sir, how do I construct the tree? Question number 3, okay, if I construct the tree, why outlook was taken as the root node? Why not humidity? Why not wind? So first question, what should be the root node? And in order to understand this concept of decision tree, in order to understand the algorithm called as ID3, we will follow these steps, and please try to listen carefully. How to construct a decision tree using ID3 algorithm. How to construct decision tree using ID3 algorithm. In the output of decision tree, first we need to identify the root. Fine, that's what we have discussed now. There are two important concepts, my dear friends. There are two important concepts called as entropy and information gain. What is entropy? What is information gain? We should understand, because these are the two important concepts used in the construction of decision tree. So what are the two important concepts? Entropy and information gain. Entropy and information gain. Now, see here, once again, I am showing you the training data. How many records we have? 14. How many are positive examples? 9 are positive examples. In 9 places, I have yes, yes, yes. So 5 are negative examples. Remember this. So 9 are positive out of 14, 5 are negative. Right. Now, what is entropy? What is information gain? We should understand. What is entropy? What is information gain? Entropy is used to measure the homogeneity of training examples. Right? Please try to understand this statement. Entropy is used to measure the homogeneity, similarity of the training examples. Means we have 14 training examples in our data set. We try to study the similarity of the training examples, right? So you can even say like we are trying to study the uncertainty or dissimilarity. Suppose if I say these two items are 60% similar to each other, what do you mean by that? If they are 60% similar to each other, it means they are 40% dissimilar. So if you observe that point, I can define entropy as it is used to measure homogeneity of training examples, right? So its opposite word can also be considered. So not only to study the similarity of training examples, how much similar they are, how much dissimilar they are, we can study from entropy, right? So friends, there are some formulas being used in this particular decision tree, and we want every student to understand these formulas. So please pay attention and listen carefully. So the formula for entropy is given here. I'm sorry. S is a sample of training examples. So S is my data set with 14 examples. So S is my data set with 14 examples. P, that is a plus symbol. P is the proportion of positive examples, P plus, and P minus is proportion of negative examples. So P plus is nothing but 9, P minus is 5 in our example, 9 and 5. Now see the formula for entropy. Entropy of S is equal to minus P, that plus symbol, log P plus minus P. This second P represents the negative proportion. Then log P base 2. In order to elaborate that function, to make it clear, it has been explained again, it has been elaborated. Entropy of S can be defined like this. See the second formula, minus P by P plus N. Friends, here this minus P by P plus N. P represents positive examples, N represents negative examples. So minus P means minus 9. In our training data, we have 9 positive examples and we have 5 negative examples. Please try to recollect and remember this point. So if I substitute them, minus P by P plus N, so it will become minus 9 by 9 plus 5, 14, minus 9 by 14 log of 9 by 14 again, minus N by P plus N. What is N? Negative examples. How many negative examples I have? 5 negative examples I have. 5 by 14. So on the left side it is 9 by 14, and on the right side after that subtraction symbol it is 5 by 14 log 5 by 14, right? So that we will calculate, but please observe this, there is an important note. So when I apply this formula, when I calculate the entropy, always the entropy's value lie between 0 and 1. Always the value of entropy lie between 0 and 1. Means it will never be less than 0, it will never be greater than 1. That is first important point. Second point, if equal number of positive and negative examples are there, if equal number of positive and negative examples are there, then entropy will be 1, and entropy will be 0 if all examples belong to same class. If all examples belong to same class. What do you mean by this? If all my training examples are positive, then entropy is 0. If all my training examples are negative, then the entropy will be 0. Means if all examples are of same type, same outcome, then the entropy will be 0. If I have equal distribution, like 50% are positive examples, 50% are negative examples, then my entropy will be 1. In remaining cases, it will be between 0 and 1. Fine. So you can apply the formula minus 9 by 14 log 9 by 14 minus 5 by 14 into log 5 by 14. So that formula can be applied. I hope the formula explanation of the formula is clear, right? Now we will move on. Information gained. These are the two important words which I wanted to explain you today, right? We can solve the complete problem probably in two classes, today's class and tomorrow's class. But let us understand entropy and information gain. I hope entropy is clear to you. And how do I calculate information gain? Information gain should be calculated on every attribute, my dear friends. Information gain should be calculated on every attribute. So here gain of S comma A means S means overall data set. A is an attribute. A is an attribute, right? So how many attributes I have? I have 4 attributes: outlook, temperature, humidity, and wind. That's what we have, right? Let me show the data set. See here, outlook, temperature, humidity, wind. So on 4 parameters, I will calculate the gain. I have to calculate the information gain. So how do I calculate information gain? What is the procedure? I will show you one example. I'll take the first parameter outlook, and for first parameter outlook, I'll try to show you, right, how information gain can be calculated. Same procedure is applied on temperature, humidity, and wind. Fine. So what is entropy? Formula for entropy is clear. Shall we move on to information gain? Entropy formula is clear to everyone. Please let me know. Entropy formula is clear to everyone. Entropy. Please respond. Entropy formula is clear to everyone. It is very simple. Yeah, 572 has responded. Right, remaining students, please let me know till this point. Is it clear to everyone? Please let me know. Right, fine. So let me move on. Information gain. Now this information gain should be calculated on every attribute. So remember this point. So if you have 4 attributes, on 4 attributes you will calculate the information gain. Now what is the formula for gain? Gain of S comma A. S means our entire data set. A means the attribute. Suppose outlook is the attribute which I want to consider. So what should I do? Gain is equal to, formula for gain is equal to entropy of S, which we have calculated here. Entropy of S is, this is the formula. So entropy of overall data set, entropy of overall data set, entropy of S means entropy of overall data set with 14 records, 9 positive, 5 negative. So when you apply that 9 by 14, 5 by 14 into this formula, you will get certain value, right? So gain is equal to entropy of S, whatever we are going to calculate based on previous formula, minus sigma of small v belongs to values of capital A and entropy of SV. So what do you mean by this? Now, for example, if outlook is the parameter, let us assume A is outlook. So what I will do, for outlook parameter, how many different values are there? Please observe this. In the outlook parameter, how many different values are there for outlook parameter? Sunny is one value, overcast is one value, rainy is one value. Like that, how many different values I have for outlook? Only 3: sunny, overcast, rainy. Now what I will do is I have to calculate entropy for this attribute called as outlook, and I need to consider all 3 values. Means if the attribute is sunny, then what is the entropy? If the attribute is rainy, what is the entropy? If the attribute is overcast, what is the entropy. I need to add all of them, that is called as a sigma. So whatever answer I'll get, that will be subtracted from overall entropy. Overall entropy means entropy of S. So please pay attention. See here, that is the meaning of this formula. When I apply it on one parameter, you will understand. So please observe this. Let us solve the problem now. First, calculate entropy for entire data set, that is E of S. What is the formula? This is the formula: minus P by P plus N log of P by P plus N minus N by P plus N log of N by P plus N. So if I apply this formula, this is an overall data set, friends. So I have 14 records, 9 are positive, 5 are negative. So it is minus 9 by 9 plus 5. Similarly, minus 5 by 9 plus 5. So when I solve this particular expression, right, entropy of S, minus 9 by 14 log 9 by 14 minus 5 by 14 log 5 by 14. The value which I got is 0.940. The value which I got is 0.940. This is called as entropy of S. Means for entire data set, the entropy which I got is 0.940. I request each and every student to please note this, right? If you have a pen and paper in your hand, or somehow, please try to remember at least. So what is the E of S value which we got? Entropy of overall data set. Entropy of overall data set is 0.940. 0.940 is entropy of overall data set. Now what should I do? I'll go to information gain. So entropy I have calculated. Now we have to find entropy for every attribute also and find the gain. So now let us take the example. I have to repeat this for every parameter, my dear friends, every attribute. For outlook I should do this, for temperature I should do this, for humidity I should do this, and for wind I should do this. In this particular example, we are doing it only for outlook attribute. So please observe this. For each attribute, let us say outlook in this example. Now in outlook, how many different values are there? Sunny, rainy, and overcast. So what I have done, from the main data set, I have created 3 small tables for only outlook parameter, my dear friends. When outlook was sunny, what was play tennis? What was the outcome of this play tennis? So how I created this table? I'll just go back to my data set. See here, I'll just copy it. Sunny. What is the outcome? No. Second, sunny. What is the outcome? No. Then again, sunny. What is the outcome? No. Sunny. What is the outcome? Yes. Sunny. What is the outcome? Yes. So what I am doing from this main data set, I am trying to simply divide, right? I have 14 records, right? From 14 records in the outlook parameter, I have 3 different values: sunny, overcast, and rainy. So what I will do, I'll separate them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 sunny values. And when it is sunny, what is the outcome? No. When it is sunny, what is the outcome? No. Like that, I have created 3 small tables. Observe this carefully, right? Outlook parameter, 5 times sunny was there. And when outlook parameters value was sunny, what was the outcome? Forget about remaining parameters. Outlook. In outlook, I have sunny 5 times. When it was sunny, what is the outcome? No, 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 yes, 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 like that. Similarly, when it is rainy, it was rainy for 5 times. And when it was rainy, what was the outcome? Yes, yes, no, yes, no. Similarly, in the outlook parameter or attribute, when the value was overcast, outcome was always yes, yes, yes. Right? So friends, the way I have calculated entropy for my main data set, in which I had 14 records, now what I should do is, out of 14 records, 9 were positive and 5 were negative. Now please observe this 3 small tables, right? Now I need to calculate entropy on the first one, entropy on second one, entropy on third one. So if in Sunny, in the first table, how many records are there? Total number of records are 5. How many are no? How many are yes? How many are no? How many are yes? Positive examples are 2 because yes came only twice. Negative examples are 3. So just like 9 and 5 equal to 14, the way we have done it on main data set, same thing I am doing it on these 3 small data sets. So when the outlook parameters value is Sunny, I should calculate entropy. When the outlook parameters value is Rainy, I should calculate the entropy. Positive examples in Rainy are 3, negative are 2. Total records are 5, right? So just like 9, 5 and 14, here it will be 2, 3 and 5. So 3 are negative in first case, 2 are positive. In outlook parameter Rainy value, yes came thrice. So 3 positive examples, 2 negative examples. Total number of records are 5. Similarly for third one, if you observe all 4 records, outcome is same. When outcome is same, means if it belongs to only a single class, entropy will be 0. So if you observe this note which we have studied, see here, if equal number of positive and negative examples are there, then E equal to 1, and E will be 0 if all examples belong to same class. So come back, see here, third one, all examples, four records I have, in all 4 cases outcome is same, so entropy for this third table will be 0. So if you observe here on the right side, I have calculated entropy for the outlook parameter, right? And it should be done value wise. For Sunny, what is the entropy? For Sunny it was 0.971. For Rainy it was 0.971. For Overcast it was 0. For Overcast it was 0. So friends, if you go back to this formula, this sigma means we have to add all these individual values. But see here, into entropy of SV. So what we have to do is, first we have to calculate entropy of Sunny, entropy of Rainy, entropy for Overcast. These 3 values we have calculated. Now see here how we calculate the information gain. How we will calculate the information gain for outlook parameter. So see here, calculating average information entropy. How do I calculate? The formula is, for Sunny, for all 3 values I should do it. P of Sunny plus N of Sunny by P plus N. See here, this P plus N is from main data set. So how many Sunny, how many times positive Sunny examples came in my first this table? Sunny came positive how many times? 2 times. Negative it was 3 times. So see here, P Sunny plus N Sunny by P plus N, entropy of outlook is equal to Sunny. So what I'll do is, see here, 3 plus 2 by P plus N. This is overall P plus N. So 3 plus 2 by 9 plus 5 into 0.971. 0.971. So here if you observe P of Sunny, actually here it is 2 and N is 3, but it was wrongly written as 3 plus 2. It is actually 2 plus 3. See here, positive examples of Sunny was only 2, right? 2. Negative was 3. So it should be 3 plus 2. It's not 3 plus 2. It should be 2 plus 3. Of course, the result remains the same, but it should be 2 plus 3. What was the entropy we calculated for Sunny parameter? It was 0.971. So what I should do, 3 plus 2 divided by 14 into 0.971 plus 2 plus 3 by 9 plus 5 into 0.97 plus 4 plus 0 by 9 plus 5 into 0. So for all 3 parameters, entropy we have calculated in previous slide. I will apply this sigma part and I calculated the average information entropy for outlook parameter, and the value which I got is 0.693. So friends, if you observe this formula of gain. So this part, entropy of S, this is the main entropy which we have already calculated, 0.940. This we know. Now this minus sigma, whatever this part is there, no, right hand side, after minus, that value is 0.693. So what should I do? I should find the gain. How do I find the gain? Gain is equal to entropy of S minus I of attribute, 0.940 minus 0.693. What is the value I got? 0.247. 0.247. This particular value is called as information gain for outlook parameter. Similarly, you have to compute information gain for temperature parameter, information gain for humidity parameter, information gain for wind parameter, information gain for wind parameter. Now out of all those four information gain which you have calculated for all four parameters, the one which has got the biggest value, right, 0.247 outlook, it has got the biggest value. So the one which gives the maximum gain, it should become the root element. It should become the root element. So similarly, the way we have calculated gain for outlook, you should calculate gain for temperature also, gain for humidity and wind. So this part is your homework. And after calculating information gains, since maximum gain we got for outlook, outlook will become the root element. So till now what we have studied is how to identify the root element. But after that, how to construct the remaining portion of the tree, that we have not yet discussed. So that's the reason I told you in the beginning of the class, we need 2 classes to complete this example. So friends, how to calculate entropy I have explained. How I have shown you how to calculate information gain for a single parameter called as outlook, right? So for outlook, what I have done, I created 3 tables because there were 3 plausible values. Similarly, you should do it for temperature, humidity and wind. Then calculate their individual entropies. Apply this formula of average information entropy. Then you will get I of outlook. Similarly, you will get I of temperature, I of humidity, I of wind. So you will get certain values. And when you subtract them from 0.940, which is our overall entropy, you will get gain of temperature, information gain of temperature, information gain of humidity, information gain of wind. So among all these 4 values, whoever or which attribute is giving me maximum gain, that will be made as root. So please try to calculate all information gains of remaining parameters also. Try to solve this till now, whatever we have done, you try to do it again and complete the information gain calculation for remaining 3 attributes. So outlook will get the biggest value 0.247. So outlook will become the root. After that, how do I continue the construction of tree part? That we will discuss in our next class, right? So are there any doubts till now? Please let me know. Please let me know. Is it clear till now? This PPT I will share. This PPT I will share in our group. So you can go through this PPT, solve the problem and try to record things. What are the information gains you got for every parameter? Please try to calculate it. So D5 says okay. 72. Yes. So friends, till now whatever we have discussed, we have only seen how to identify the root element. So once the root element is identified, further how the tree construction will be done, that will be discussed in the next class. And if you don't attend the next class, you will not be able to understand decision tree. One problem will be given in your mid exam, and I'm even expecting one problem in your external examination also. So friends, please pay attention. Whatever subject you are learning,